Please listen to this conversation in which Duke Senior, Orlando, and Rosalind are involved. Duke Senior, dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised? Orlando, I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. Rosalind, patience once more, whilst our compact is urged. To the Duke, you say, if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here? Duke Senior, that would I, had I kingdoms to give with her. Rosalind, to Orlando, and you say you will have her when I bring her. Orlando, that would I, were I of all kingdoms king. Now Rosalind and Celia go out. Preparations are made for 4 sets of marriages. These are the 4 pairs. 1. Rosalind and Orlando. 2. Celia and Oliver. 3. Touchstone and Audrey. 4. Silvius and Phoebe. Regarding the 4th pair, that is Silvius and Phoebe, there is some confusion. This Phoebe was doting on Rosalind, and she had no idea that this person was a woman. However, Rosalind had wrung out an insurance from Phoebe that if she cannot get the female turned Ganymede, she will marry Silvius. And eventually it happens like that. Now Duke Senior and Orlando enter into a conversation. It is thus. Duke Senior, I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor. Orlando, my lord, the first time that I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But my lord, this boy is forest born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest. Here, one might ponder over the interesting father, the Duke Senior, being not able to distinguish his daughter, and the drama proceeding in lines of such disguised practices. To Shakespeare's audiences, this was food for fun, humor, and enjoyment. At this point, Touchstone and Audrey also arrive there. When all are in such high spirits, enters Hymen, the Roman god of marriage. Along with Hymen enter the original Rosalind and Celia. No longer Ganymede and Helena. Now Hymen speaks his motto thus: then is there mirth in heaven, when earthly things made even atone together. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her. Yea, brought her hither, that thou mightest join her hands with his, whose heart within his bosom is. Now Rosalind speaks to Duke Senior thus: to you I give myself, for I am yours. Thereafter, she speaks to Orlando thus: to you I give myself, for I am yours. Then follows their conversation. It is thus: Duke Senior, if there be truth in sight, you are my daughter. Orlando, if there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind. Rosalind, to Duke Senior, I will have no father, if you be not he. To Orlando, I will have no husband, if you be not he. Hymen, peace, ho, I bar confusion. It is I must make conclusion of these most strange events. Here is 8 that must take hands to join in Hymen's bands if truth holds true contents. To Orlando and Rosalind, you and you no cross shall part. To Oliver and Celia, you and you are heart in heart. To Phoebe, you to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. To Touchstone and Audrey, you and you are sure together, as the winter to foul weather. Whilst a wedlock hymn we sing, feed yourselves with questioning. The reason wonder may diminish, how thus we met and these things finish. Now Hymen sings a song. It is thus. Wedding is great Juno's crown. O blessed bond of board and bed. It is Hymen peoples every town. High wedlock then be honored. Honor, high honor and renown to Hymen, God of every town. With an overflowing heart, Duke Senior welcomes both his daughter and niece. Now, Phoebe agrees to marry Silvius. And so, that marriage is also formalized. At this crucial moment, all of a sudden enters Jacques de Bois, the second son of Sir Roland de Bois. He has come to report a very good piece of news. He speaks thus. Let me have audience for a word or two. I am the second son of old Sir Roland, that bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of most great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life. Then follows a conversation in which Duke Senior, Jacques de Bois, and the philosopher Jacques are involved. It is thus. Duke Senior, welcome, young man. Thou offerest fairly to thy brother's wedding, to one his lands withheld, and to the other a land itself at large, a potent dukedom. First in this forest, let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot, and after every of this happy number that have endured shrewd days and nights with us shall share the good of our returned fortune, according to the measure of their states. Meantime, forget this new fallen dignity, and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music, and you brides and bridegrooms all, with a measure heaped in joy to the measure's fall. Jacob, sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke has put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court. Jacob's D. Boys, he hath. Jacobs, to him will I, out of these convertites. There is much matter to be heard and learned. To Duke Senior, you to your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserves it. To Orlando, you to a love that your truth and faith that merit it. To Oliver, you to your land and love and great allies. To Silvius, you to a long and well-deserved bed. To Touchstone, and you to wrangling, for thy loving voyage is but for 2 months victualled. So to your pleasures. I am for, other than for dancing measures. Duke Senior, stay, Jacobs, stay. Jacobs, to see no pastime, I. What you would have, I will stay to know at your abandoned cave. After saying this, Jacobs leaves the place. Now Duke Senior gives the concluding remark. It is thus: proceed, proceed, we will begin these rites, as we do trust they will end in true delights. Then the drama ends with a dance. Once it is over, Rosalind appears on the stage to pronounce an epilogue. It is thus: it is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it is true that good wine needs no bush, it is true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet a good wine they do use, good bushes, and good plays prove the better by the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in then, that am neither a good epilogue, nor cannot insinuate with you in the behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar. Therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you. And I will begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, that between you and the women the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or good breasts will for my kind offer, when I make courtesy, bid me farewell. Thus ends Shakespeare's sweet drama called As You Like It. Let us remember that a Shakespearean comedy is a story of love which culminates in marriage. It is a play where not only the hero and heroine, but almost all other characters are in love. Thus, in the end, there is a surfeit of marriages after an abundance of love. Shakespeare's characters fall in love at first sight. In his plays, it is as inevitable as death is inevitable. It comes to clown and to courtier, to the wayward youth and the serious maiden. The love depicted by Shakespeare is everlasting, not a fleeting upsurge of sex. It uplifts and inspires both the people who love and the person who is loved. Whether it is Rosalind, Portia, Viola, or Beatrice, they all prosper along with the first flush of love. The Fool is one of the most exquisite creations of Shakespeare. The Fool is an all-pervasive spirit of mirth. It also provides a link between the main plot and the subplots. Moreover, he provides a running commentary on the action as well as on the characters of the play. A moderner who is fed up with the excessiveness of contemporary politics may wish for the existence of such clowns today also. Because this fool has the freedom and the license to call a spade, to bring to light the errors and fallacies of governance. Critics like Sir Walter Raleigh and Samuel Taylor Coleridge maintain that it is Shakespeare's magnificent characterization that generates the prime interest for the reader. In As You Like It, the character of Jacques has provided for much critical interest. This philosopher is even compared with Hamlet. His famous description of the 7 ages in the lifespan of a human being has been stuffed for much favorable as well as unfavorable criticism. Some people consider him as a misanthrope whose chief pleasure is to deride humanity and all its affairs, just as the beaten and frustrated Macbeth does towards the end of his drama. Some of the stages in man's existence seem to be too much charged with pessimism and even melancholia or hypochondria. However, despite such derogatory criticism, the line starting with "all the world is a stage and all the men and women merely plays" continue to ring and reverberate in our ears. Lastly, one point is there to be emphasized. It is that Shakespeare's characters in his comedies are gentle, kind, merry, and humorous. This is more so with women who are charming and they dominate the action. The world of Shakespearean comedy is an extremely safe place for women. It is a world where a girl may easily blossom into a woman. It is a world where women not only match men but also come out winners. They generate lots of sunshine and happiness. The men of his comedies may be young and handsome, but when work needs to be done, Shakespeare invariably reaches out for his heroines. In the 21st century, when some people claim that mankind has reached the apex of evolution, one is terribly pained and even horrified by the continuous flow of reports of multitudes of heinous atrocities being inflicted on women. The world of Shakespearean comedy provides a sure and safe habitat for the unhindered development of the natural capabilities that have been bounteously bestowed on womankind. Thank you.